Live from Radio Row in Minnesota, it's Levack and Goss on 104.5 The Team.
We are now joined by the director of the brand new 30 for 30 coming out tonight. It's the big night.
Tonight is the night.
Ken Rodgers joins us, the two Bills.
Don't miss it.
How each one of those individuals is extremely intimidating. Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells.
Very.
You were in a room with both of them, and you lived to tell the tale.
I did.
Was there moments where you got a little nervous?
Yes. And beforehand, there's, probably about 3 hours beforehand where everything's set up, because we set up early. The nerves got to me, and thankfully there was a bathroom nearby. Because, boy, my stomach was upset just at the nerves. Yeah, a lot of bubbles. A lot of bubbles. Because Parcells and Belichick are showing up, and you have a 3-hour interview set, and you're not leaving that chair. You're not going, hey, guys, why don't you hang tight? I'm going to, run to the restaurant. Just the nerves, knowing that that's coming, that these two guys are going to sit there and look at you, sort of like you two. It's pretty intimidating.
But
it's like, oh my God, we've been
waiting.
You two are a little better looking, but
Well, I do what I can to bring the look of the show up.
Just make this a promo, by the way. We're better looking than Parcells and Belichick.
Now, not even back in the day.
It was intimidating, is the answer.
I can't imagine. These are two guys. These are two leader of men. And you have to sit there and tell them what to say and what to do.
Yeah. Well, you'll see in the film tonight that they give it back to me pretty well. And some of the best moments in the film are them refusing to play along with me. And we kept those in the film because I think they reveal who they are the best.
So you didn't intend to be in this?
No.
But you had to be in this?
Yeah, I had to, just because... we didn't want a narrator because we wanted them to just tell their story. But there's a couple times where you just had to have me because they were yelling at somebody and saying that they weren't going to answer the questions, or that somebody was, getting it wrong, that, you're making too big a deal out of this whole reconciliation thing. And so you have to know who's asking those questions. So you sort of know that there's a director there. You certainly don't see me or know that it's me, but you hear my voice. And that's how they relate to people. They are, especially Parcells, the consummate buster. They bust on you more than they do if they dislike you. If they dislike you, they just don't talk to you. If they like you, if they're down with you, they insult you.
Right.
They're gruff with you.
It's old school. It's men's men.
That's how it is.
You talked about reconciliation with the old situation. They're in the room together, but there's got to be something before that. How long was the process to make this happen where, yes, I agree to it, and yes, I agree to it from both sides?
You ask that as if they're hard to get, sit down in front of the media.
I'm on to the next 30 for 30.
Right. You mean you haven't had them here today?
No, we haven't, believe it or not. No.
And Parcells hangs out in Saratoga.
Yeah,
he lives
all
in
the time.
Saratoga.
Yes. It was difficult, definitely, but it was more a scheduling problem. They agreed to it pretty quickly, and that's because they really want to sit down and, record this for history. And they have a great old relationship with Steve Sable that goes back to the 70s, and NFL Films has been here for them to record their careers for a long time, and they saw a kinship in Steve Sable. But the scheduling took 3 years.
Wow.
Parcells never has free time, and neither does Belichick.
Well, certainly. They both are busy, and we had some near misses, and I think now it makes sense that we ended up meeting on neutral ground in the Meadowlands. Because I think back, and you know what? Maybe Belichick wasn't going to go to Saratoga, to Parcells' home turf, and meet on his terms. And maybe Parcells wasn't going to go to Nantucket and meet on his terms. Maybe they had to meet in the middle somewhere, and that's how it was going to work. And that's how it worked out. And I think it worked that way.
Ken Rodgers, he's the director of the 30 for 30 that you will see tonight, the two Bills.
The only frustrating part about the 30 for 30 is that it comes down to a time constraint. For you as a director, was there one moment, one interview, something that, I wish that was in the film tonight?
I could have added more and more and more Parcells yelling at Belichick.
Really?
It's great. It's great. Oh, it's so good when you see it. Belichick as a young assistant getting yelled at. I mean, his assistants now would love to see all this footage.
Right.
Just him getting yelled at. It's great.
Is there like a real animosity there? Is that like
No, it's just the way Parcells was. They both grew up in this military sort of mindset, and then learned the military mindset. So Parcells coached at Army, and Belichick grew up in the Naval Academy, and so they both learned very early this military mindset of when you're given an order, you take it. And to this day, Belichick sees Parcells as the boss. It doesn't matter how many Super Bowls Belichick wins. He will always see Parcells as the head coach because Parcells never worked for Belichick. It was always the other way around. And to this day, he sees him as head coach. In fact, you'll see when he walks in the room and the interview starts with him in the beginning of the film, Belichick walks in and goes, "Hey, coach." And Parcells turns around and says, "Hey, pal." And that's not out of any sort of animosity, but it's just that's their relationship. Is Parcells is still the boss, and he always will be, and that's the reverence Bill Belichick has for Parcells, and you'll see it. Bill Belichick thanks him in a way that I never thought I'd see Bill Belichick thank anybody on air tonight, in a way that is reverential. He says, I wouldn't be where I'm at without you. Like that's amazing to hear from someone of Bill Belichick's stature. And everyone likes to have this argument, like, would Bill Parcells have won those 2 Super Bowls if Bill Belichick wasn't on his staff? Right. I think you can just as validly ask, would Bill Belichick be Bill Belichick if it weren't for Bill Parcells? And I think that's a valid question.
The respect you're talking about there, that leads to what happened probably about 6 weeks ago when there were rumors floating around that maybe Bill Belichick wanted to leave the New England Patriots and go back to the New York Giants when there was an opening. Did you ever get a feel that there was something about Bill Belichick ever wanting to go back to the Giants where one of his mentors in the league coached?
I never got that feeling, no. I think, in the end, he has deep, deep love and respect for the Giants organization and what he went through there. In fact, you'll see in the film tonight a clip that was originally shown in his football life where he tears up and cries thinking about those times with the Giants. That's how much he cares about those days. They mean a lot to him. But he did say to me that didn't make the film, it was actually off the record, that, that's because nostalgia has set in. And one day he's going to, nothing will ever replace New England and what he's achieved in New England. One day he'll feel about New England the way he feels about the Giants now. It's that right now he's in the middle of it for New England. So he can't see it with that rose-colored nostalgia. He's chasing the next one. Right? And he literally is. I mean, he is on to the next one every single day. He hasn't watched this film. He really doesn't care whether it airs or it doesn't. He agreed so that it was captured for history, and he's glad that we recorded it. But, if I told him 3 people watched it on air, he'd say, oh, that's fine. He doesn't care.
Well,
Ken Rodgers, he's the director of the 2 Bills, 30 for 30 tonight on ESPN. Joining us right now, 104.5 The Team. Guys always ask this question, and you kind of just said it, so I'm going to ask him to steal your question. What's the one thing you left on the cutting room floor that you wish there was another 2, 3, 5 minutes to add to the whole film?
There was a cool section about their competitiveness where they used to play racquetball together.
Oh my God, what?
They used to play racquetball against each other. And I certainly would have used that if I had any footage of it, but we just couldn't find any footage. They both told stories about how, they would play racquetball against each other to stay in shape. And you can imagine with those short shorts around circa 84, 85, what that would have looked like. Them playing racquetball in the Giants racquetball court against each other. You know, Parcells probably wearing that like tight plastic, sweatsuit. And it was probably really great footage. Just we couldn't find any footage. And the best part is that Belichick would say, you know, they'd get done playing. They'd all be sweaty. They got their exercise in. They'd walk out. Parcells would light up a cigarette and start go back to work. And it's like all the 80s.
Yeah, man. Ken Rodgers, 30 for 30, the two Bills tonight. And in Belichick fashion, what are you on to next?
Oh, boy. Definitely on to the next thing. You know, I can't wait for this to air so that I can move on to the next thing. We're trying to find out who our next team for Hard Knocks is going to be next summer. We are looking forward to producing all the Super Bowl highlights. We'll do another Do Your Job or Coach's Show if the Eagles win. Depending whoever wins, we'll do a Coach's Show on them. We're looking forward to pitching the next 30 for 30. I think one day we'll probably end up doing something on, you know, Belichick and Kraft and Brady and this triumvirate, you know, like how can you not? The great thing is that we are always capturing footage. So whether it's me or whether it's some young kid that's in high school right now, you know, the NFL Films vault continues to grow. And, you know, when they do 60 for 60, NFL Films is going to be here to make some films about, you know, the NFL because we're constantly recording stuff behind the scenes that no one has seen yet that one day is going to come out because our job's just to capture history and use it sometime in the future. So stay tuned. We have a lot of stuff that no one has seen yet.
Love it, Ken Rodgers. Thank you for making the two Bills. It's just had my interest from the second I saw the first preview.
Great.
And we're looking forward to watching it at full screen tonight.
Oh yeah.
And maybe throwing back a few cold ones while we enjoy it. It is Radio Row. Thank you, Ken. We got Rodney Pete is going to join us next.